Okay, before we get into this next assignment, there's a couple things we're going to need to do before we start doing the examples. I got 8 examples and there's 4 problems. Okay, you need to Google the multiplication table. Just Google this right here, multiplication table 25 by 25. 25x 25, it'll come up. You're going to need that either on your phone or on your computer, or you can take one, print it if you have a printer at home. Okay, that's what you're going to need. Now another thing you're going to want to write on a separate piece of paper. There's going to be 2 case scenarios here because I've done all these problems before, but now I'm throwing them into the same assignment. Ax squared, remember the number in front of x squared is called your a, plus bx. If you just have an a and a b, here are the steps you need to take to solve the problem. You need to first make sure the equation's equal to 0. Then you need to do your GCF. Factor out your GCF equals 0. And that's your F1, that's your F2, and then you'll be able to get your 2 answers. Now in the second case scenario that's going to come up, there's going to be an ax to the second plus bx. And there'll be a c because there'll be a number without an x. You need to make sure you're equal to 0 there. Then you're going to do your GCF if you have one. If the GCF is just 1, you're not going to do it, okay? Then after that, you can't do the F1, F2. What you're going to need to do is use your table, and you're going to need to rewrite that in 2 parentheses down here. Now, I want you to put A equals, because you're always going to need to keep your eye peeled on what the A is. Okay? So get that stuff down, and then this is kind of your help guide. Okay, example number 1, we have 20x to the power of 2 minus 60x equals 0. These are all quadratic equations, and I'm going to do 2 problems on each page, so there's 2 answers. Okay. Okay, now label your a. Remember, find your x squared. Any x squared, the number in front of it's a. Now, any x without the second power is b. 0 doesn't count for anything. Don't label 0. So you just have an a and a b. So you make sure you're equal to 0, which we are. We don't have to worry about that. Then make your GCF box. Line, parentheses. And 20 and 60, okay? Go look at 20, okay? Here's 20, so you have a 20 and a 60. Here's 20 itself, in the 20th row you have 20 and 60, so you want to go with 20, okay? So 20 is your GCF. Now, if I have x to the second and x, I also need to factor out an x along with the 20. So I go up and divide by 20x. Cancel those. That's going to be 1. The x second divided by x is always x, and then 60 divided by 20 is 3, negative 3. Okay, and then you label your F1, F2. You're going to want to put a parentheses around that. So F1 is 20x, F2 is 1x minus 3. So F1, 20x could equal 0. F2, 1x minus 3 could equal 0. Okay, so you're going to divide both sides by 20 here, and you get 0. And over here, you're going to add 3 to both sides, so 1x equals 3. You don't really need to divide by 1. That would be your answer, so 0 and 3. Okay, example 2, we have x to the second power minus 2x minus 63 equals 0. Now there's 2 terms. Now label your a, b, and c. So I got a 1 here. Put a 1 if it doesn't have a number, and that's your a. That's the only x second I have. Now go find x, that's a b, and the numbers without x's are c. Remember, 0 doesn't count for anything, so we have a, b, and c. Okay, so if I have a, b, and c, we make sure the equation's equal to 0, which it is, equals 0, so I don't need to do anything there. I'm going to make my GCF box. Then under that, I'm going to make a second box, split a pretty big box, split it in half, make a t-table, and write A equals. Now we're ready to go. Now I got three numbers. I got 1, 2, and 63. Well, if 1 is one of the numbers, then the GCF is just 1, okay? And also, I cannot put an X out there because we have this 63 that does not have X, okay? So the GCF is just an empty 1, okay, meaning it has no X. So if the GCF's 1, we're not even going to do it because dividing stuff by 1 is stupid, okay? Okay, then after that, remember, we need to take our A times our C. You always take A times C, A times C, A times C. So I take 1 times negative 63, and that would be negative 63. So since that's a negative, we're going to look for a positive times a negative, and we need to add the factors to negative 2. So I start dividing into 63. 63 divided by 163, there's no way that makes negative 2. If I divide 63 by 2, just like this, that's a decimal. So don't write it down. 63 divided by 3 is 21, so I put 321. If I add those, nope. After 3 comes 4, nope. 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 How about 7 and 9? What's that? Okay. Okay, 7 plus negative 9 is negative 2, so we have it. Okay, so right there. Now, here's the important part. You got to look up at what your A is. Your A is 1. So if A is 1, you can get rid of it, and if you can get rid of it, you only need to make 2 parentheses, okay? You don't need to make the 4 like you did on that assignment from last week. If A is anything other than a 1, you're going to need 4, but... Okay, so we go x, because it's just x to the second. I took the 1 away. You can always take the 1 away if your A is 1, okay? Plus 7 minus 9, and then F1, F2. If you want to put that down here, you can. That's where you get your F1, F2 at. So x plus 7 could equal 0, or x minus 9 could equal 0. So we subtract 7, I get negative 7. Add 9, and you get positive 9, okay? So those are the two answers, negative 7 and positive 9. Okay, next problem. 3x to the second plus 23x plus 14 equals 0. So there are two answers. There's always two answers you have to find. Okay, now here's x squared. A, find your x, that's your B, find numbers without x, that's your C. So we have A, B, C. So make sure you're equal to 0, which you are. Make your GCF table. But then after that, you need to make that table with the T. T chart is what I call it. Okay, and we will be putting parentheses here, but I don't know how the parentheses go till after I get my numbers. Okay, 3, 23, and 14. Look at this, take the smaller number 3, look in its row, here's 3. Do you have 14? You have 21, but you don't have 14, okay? And 3 is not in the second row, so it would just be 1. And again, we can't do x because that C doesn't have x, okay? So we're not going to do it then. If it's just 1, don't do it. Anything else, you would do it. Okay, then I take A times 3, C. Positive 3 times positive 14. That's 42. Now it's positive, so we're looking for either a negative times a negative. And if that doesn't work, we can switch it to positive times positive. We're adding to try to get plus 23. So 43 divided by 1 is 42. 42 divided by 1. There's no way that adds to positive 23. Reset the signs. 221, and when I divide this by 2, I get 21. Now, if I add those, negative 22 plus negative 21, that's negative 23. So I have the right numbers, I just don't have the right signs on those numbers because it's got to be positive 23, so make them plus plus. Now, here's the game changer. The A is not a 1, it is a 3. So if it is not a 1, we can't just get rid of 3. So you can't, if that's not a 1, you can't cross it out. What you do instead is you make two lines of parentheses. And you take that 3 and you start with that, okay? And then you go x plus 2, x plus 21. Now you need to divide those expressions by the GCF. So 3 and 2. So look at 2's row. Is 3 there? Nope. So that would just be 1. So that will stay 3x plus 2. And that's your F1. Now 3 and 21. Look at 3's row, 3 and 21. Those are in the same row, so 3. I would divide by 3. And that would be 1x plus 7. And there's your F2. So it's just like a little extra step when your A is not a 1 and you can't cross it out. Because this expression is equal to 3x plus 2 times 1x plus 7. So 3x plus 2 could equal 0, or 1x plus 7 could equal 0. So I subtract 2. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. Divide by 3, and that's negative 2 over 3. Here I minus 7. 0 minus 7 is negative 7. You don't really have to divide by 1. So it would be negative 2/3 and negative 7 for the two answers. Okay, now example 4, 12x to the second plus 20x minus 8 equals 0. I don't think you've seen one quite like this before, so pay attention here. So you got A, you got B, you got C, so it's an ABC quadratic. So equals 0. Sure, you're equal to 0, okay? All right, so I'm going to make this is why you make the GCF box on an ABC problem, okay, right here. Because I know all problems we've done with ABC, that GCF's always been 1, but now it's going to change. 12, 20, and 8. Take your smallest number, 8, look in its row. Here's 8, but 12's not in here, and neither's 20, okay? They all three have to be in that. Now find 8 somewhere up above. Nope, nope, right there. There's 8, there's 12, there's 20. So the GCF's actually 4 this time. But it would not be 4x because, again, you have that C at the end without an x. When you have an ABC, you don't factor out x, just a number. So we're going to go up and divide all three of these by 4. So 12 divided by 4 is 3, and the x to the second stays. 20 divided by 4 is 5, that's x, and then minus 2 equals 0. Now here's what you do at that point. Cross that out and go ABC from here, okay? ABC. So if you actually do a GCF on an ABC, then the parentheses is now your new A, B, and C, okay? Okay, so I take 3 times negative 2. That would be negative 6. So we're looking for a positive times a negative. That would add up to positive 5. Right there I have it, okay? But it's negative 5, so to make positive 5, we just switch the signs. Now what's your A? Remember, you're not up there at the 12 anymore, okay? You need to cross that out after you've pulled out the 4 and divided. Your A is 3, okay? 3. Okay, so if A is 3, I can't just cross 3 out. I need to make 4 parentheses, and I start with 3. And then put the minus 1 and the plus 6. Okay, so 3 and 1. So here's 3, here's 1. That would just be 1. So that won't change. That'll be 3x minus 1. Okay. Now 3 and 6. Here's 3, here's 6, so 3. I would divide those both by 3, and that would be 1x plus 2. So that's F1, that's F2. Now there is something I need to point out. You can do this if you want, but you don't have to. This 4 I pulled out technically is still there, but since it doesn't have an X, it's not used to solve, okay? You can put it in front because that 4 is still there, but you don't use it to solve. You just go 3x minus 1 equals 0. 1x plus 2 equals 0. Again, it's just a 4 without an x connected behind it, so it's really a useless factor in solving it. So I add 1, so 3x equals 1. Divide by 3, that's just 1/3. Okay, if it's a decimal, just write it in fraction form. Minus 2, get negative 2, and then you have negative 2, so 1/3 and negative 2. Okay, next problem. Negative 6x to the second minus 12x equals 0. So there's 2 answers. Whoops, I didn't write that right. Yours says 6x second equals negative 12x. So that's an A, that's a B. So you have an A and a B. But you're not equal to 0, okay? So here's what you do. You put plus 12x, because now you'll have a 0, but that's a B, and that's an A, so they can't go together. You just put 12x up above plus 12x. So let me run that by you again. You get negative 12x to 0 by adding 12x, but that's a B. There's no other B over there, so you just put it behind, okay? And your equation is now 6x to the second plus 12x equals 0. Okay, so get it to 0, just do the opposite, but if there's no B over there, you put it behind everything, okay? Write your A first and your B second. It's got to go A, B, and if there's a C, we do C. So we're equal to 0, now we do the GCF. Six and 12, so here's 6, here's 12, I can do 6. And also on an AB, also take an X. So go up and divide by 6x. 6 divided by 6 is 1x, 12 divided by 6 is 2. Okay, and then you got your F1, F2 right there. Okay, so that'll be it. So 6x could equal 0, 1x plus 2 could equal 0. So we just divide by 6 here, I get 0. Minus 2, you get negative 2. Ditch the 1, you don't need that. Okay, a 1 in front of a variable is kind of useless. 0 and negative 2. Okay, my next problem, x second minus 2x equals 6x plus 20. So there are 2 answers. So find your x to the seconds. That's A. Now find your x. You have 2 of them, so they're both labeled B. Numbers without x, C. Okay. So you have A, B, and C all in the same problem. So you make sure you're equal to 0, which you are not. You got to get both of these to 0. First get that to 0. Minus 6x. Now, is there a B on the other side? If there is, put minus 6x under that. Now you also got to get your plus 20 to a 0. Is there a C over there to do that under? No, there's not, so you put minus 20 behind, and that's your C. So now you're equal to 0. So you have A, 1x to the second. For your B, you got to take negative 2 minus 6. That's negative 8x. And then minus 20 is your C. Okay, so you're equal to 0. Okay. Took a little bit of work, but now set up your boxes. So GCF first, and then the T box. Okay, GCF 1, 8, and 20 is 1. You can't do an X on an ABC, so that's essentially pointless. So I take 1 times negative 20, that's negative 20. So we need a positive times a negative, and we have to add to try to get to negative 8. So if I divide 20 by 1, it's 20. There's no way that adds to negative 8. If I divide 20 by 2, I get 10. Yeah, that's -8, and I don't change the signs, because if I go 2 plus -10, that's -8, okay? Okay, A is 1, okay? Look at your last ABC. You look at your last one, that's 1, so guess what you get to do? You get to cross out the 1 and just make 2 parentheses. XX plus 2 minus 10, because it's pointless to put a 1 in front of the X, okay? So F1, F2. So X plus 2 could equal 0, or X minus 10 could equal 0. Minus 2, you get -2, plus 10, 0 plus 10 is 10. So -2 and 10 are the two answers to that equation. Okay, next up, 8x to the power of 2 minus 14x equals -3. So again, two answers. Now go label your A, B, C. So x squared is A, x is B, and then the number without the x is C. Okay, we're here. Are you equal to 0? No, you got to get the -3 to a 0. Plus 3. Now that was a C. Is there a C on the other side? No, so you put it up above, just after everything. So your A, you just got 8x to the second. Put it here. B, you got minus 14x. And C, you got plus 3 equals 0. Now reset the ABC, and now make your boxes GCFT. Okay, 8, 14, and 3. Check the third row because that's your smallest number. Always go to the smallest numbers row. You don't have 8, you don't have 14, 3 isn't here, so it's 1. Again, ABC, you don't do an X, so if you just have 1, forget it. So now I take A times C. 8 times 3 is 24. It would be positive. So we're looking for either a negative times negative, or I can always switch it to a positive times a positive. So the A is -14, or no, I'm adding to -14. So 1 and 24, no way. If I divide 24 by 2, you get 12. Yeah, that adds to -14. Now your A is an 8 this time, so you can't just forget about an 8. You can forget about a 1, just not an 8. You need 4 parentheses. If A is anything other than a 1, you need to make 4 parentheses. And you start with 8, and then x minus 2, x minus 12. So 8 and 2, so I take 2 and 8's in that row, so I want to divide those both by 2. And that's 4x minus 1, and that's your first factor. 8 and 12 go to the 8th row. 12's not here, so go up. Here's 8, here's 12, so it would be 4. Also would be 2, but 4 is the greatest one, so you want to do that. Okay, so you got your F1 and F2 equals 0, so 4x minus 1 could equal 0, 2x minus 3 could equal 0. Add 1, you get 4x equals 1, so that'd be 1/4, and then plus 3, 2x equals 3, you just put that as 3 over 2. Okay, last example. And I think I will make a video in case you're struggling. 2x squared minus 6x equals 4x plus 48. So there's two answers. Now on some of these, okay, so that's an A, that's the only x squared. Now x's, there's 2, so that's both B and then C. So you have ABC, but you got to get that equal to 0. It's got to be simplified, okay? Now how do I know what goes over here? Well, 4x, I would subtract that to get it to 0. And there's a B over there, so I can subtract 4x. Plus 48, minus 48. There's no C over there, so you put minus 48 at the end. So your A, you've got 2x squared. Your B, you got to take -6 minus 4. Keep in mind, that's not 6 minus 4, it's -6 minus 4, that's -10. So minus 10x, that's your B. Then minus 48 is your C. Okay, now set up your boxes, GCF table. The boxes will help. You know what to do. Okay, 2, 10, and 48. Well, here's 2, there's 10, and all the way down here is 48, so 2. Not with x, though, so we do need to divide by 2 then, okay? So 2 divided by 2 is 1. X second stays, because you're not putting an x under the line, so the x's stay like they are. Minus 5x minus 24. A, B, C. Remember, this is not the A, that's gone, okay? Don't label that A, okay? That don't have x second. 1 times negative 24 is negative 24, so we're looking for a positive times a negative, and we're trying to add to get to negative 5. So you add those, nope. Divide by 2, you get 12, nope. Divide by 3, you get 8, yup. Now, what's your A? Don't look up here, cross that out. Once you've divided, that is no longer your A. Your A is 1, okay? So since A is 1, I get to get rid of it and just make 2 parentheses, okay? XX plus 3 minus 8. Again, when it's a 1, get rid of it. It's gone. That's just x second. Okay, now, this 2 can be dropped alongside down here, but it's not really important. If you neglect to do that, it's not going to matter. Okay, so F1, F2. So x plus 3 could equal 0. X minus 8 could equal 0. So we minus 3. Negative 3. Add 8. You get 8. Okay, I will make a blog that goes on with the assignments if you're struggling.